Welcome to the first film on my YouTube channel, and what better way to kick things off than with something fun, fabulous, feisty, and begins with the letter F. Ferrari. Let's start with a story. Are you sitting comfortably? Then we will begin. Ferrari has a long history in making sports cars, but it was the 355 that really resonated with me. It was 1994, I was a motoring journalist, and this beautiful Ferrari was big news. Then things got better. The 360 was better to drive. The 430 was more usable. The 458 was brilliant at everything, and the 488, which added turbos to the mix for better fuel economy. But what happened next? The F8 Tributo. As its name suggests, this car is a tribute to the engine that lies under there, beneath that lightweight window. That, ladies and gentlemen, is an award-winning V8 engine, the most powerful in Ferrari's history outside any special models. How powerful is it, I hear you ask? Well, 720 horse powerful, which is almost 250 more than the F40. Now, as much as I want to just jump in and immerse myself in all that power, let's take a quick tour of the outside. It's been designed by the Ferrari Styling Centre, which I think should be said in an Italian accent to make it sound more exotic. I will spare you my attempt at that. But they have been in touch with Ferrari's motorsport division to make it super slippy through the air. 10% better than the predecessor. And I'd like to bring your attention to this F1 derived S-duct because the front end was built around it. Air goes in and then it's sent up and over to help it suck down to the tarmac. Other aerodynamic aids include this vent above the headlamps, which sends air to cool those massive brakes. Then along the side we have these pods which sends air into the intercooler, and then air goes up and over and down and into here to help cool the engine. Now this is a carbon fibre blown rear spoiler, and air gets funneled into here and sent out the back to boost aerodynamics, as does this rear diffuser, and it's got 3 adaptive panels that close up to reduce drag and make you go faster, and they open up and have the opposite effect. Now all of this works together to give this car better downforce. What does downforce make? Quicker cornering. Now before I leave the rear, I just need to bring your attention to these lovely round lights, which is a nod to previous cars like the 355. Enzo Ferrari once said he builds engines and throws the rest of the car in for free. Well, let me tell you, it is not too shabby in here. The dash is angled around the driver. You've got the rev counter smack bang in the middle like you would in a racing car. And to stop your passenger peering over and having a sneaky peek, there is a touch screen that shows everything from the speed to the sat-nav. At last, I can unleash all of that juicy power from the 3.9 litre twin turbo engine, 720 horsepower and 770 Newton meters of torque. Would you like some statistics? 0 to 62 happens in 2.9 seconds. 0 to 124 miles an hour, in case you're interested, happens in 7.6 seconds. Top speed, 200 miles an hour, 211 miles an hour. It's got a torque management system where it doesn't give you all of the torque all of the time. And that is to make the car more drivable, so it's not quite as ferocious or as snappy as something like the aptly named Ferrari Superfast. And it's very much like a normally aspirated V8. I really cannot believe that there is 1 turbo on there, let alone 2. foot on the throttle and bang, the car just roars down the road. There is instant power delivery. And the gears just come at you like balls out of an automatic tennis ball thrower. When you go down the box, there's a lovely flipping system that mimics a heel and toe, which you would do in a racing car to help match the revs for the incoming lower gear. And I'm so glad it's got that system in this car, because I'm a little bit busy looking at where I'm going and holding onto the steering wheel for me to worry about what my feet are doing. Flip, flip, it's lovely. Now, once you have recalibrated your senses to cope with this engine's amazing performance, you can really appreciate the noise. Now, to meet ever-demanding emission regulations, Ferrari have had to put a filter in the car to make the noise slightly quieter. But to counteract this, they have come up with a clever device that feeds noise through a tube into the C-pillar and therefore into the cabin. And that tube is called a hot tube. Should have been called a noisy tube. Ferrari says that this car can be driven by anyone. So I am going to mimic Valerie Butler-Henderson, the original VBH, my mummy, and put it into auto mode, put the suspension on soft, and off we trot. Now, as much as I wish that all country roads were as smooth as this racing track, I still can feel the suspension softening and cushioning me, so that does an incredible job considering what I've just been doing, hooning around this track. This is a car that could and should be driven every day with the occasional track day thrown in. It is fantastic. And sadly, that brings us to the end of this part of my first ever film for my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. Please press subscribe to make sure you are ready to receive part 2, where I will be looking at this car and how it slides. Thank you so much. Oh, turn the wheel, boot the throttle. Oh my gosh, I love going sideways.